and welcome to Braw Screen 2021. Hello, I'm Patricia Panther and this is Catherine King who will be interpreting for the evening. We are here to premiere 5 brilliant commissions of new Screen Circus brought to life by Aerial Edge and funded by Creative Scotland. In addition, we're launching the new Screen Circus website, brawcircus.co.uk, to host and showcase the best of international Screen Circus alongside our stunning Scottish creations. We'll show you around that site, which is where you'll soon be able to find subtitled versions of the films for those who prefer to access them that way. The main focus for tonight is to premiere the fantastic work of circus artists from or based in Scotland. You'll see 5 wonderfully diverse works and hear from the artists about their inspiration and the making of those films. We'd love to hear your comments and feedback, so please feel free to pop them in the chat box and we'll give them a read as we go. You can also direct questions to the artists who will be joining us tonight. Again, just pop them in the YouTube chat box. So just to let you know a bit about Braw, it started as a festival of live circus performance back in 2018 with Creative Scotland funding. Braw showcased new works and seeded the development of more shown as scratch performances. Happening alongside the Aerial Edge Circus Convention meant that these works reached a wide international audience and stamped the ingenuity and vigour of Scottish-made circus onto the consciousness of visitors from around the globe. Braw is a Scots word meaning excellent or pleasing, especially in how you present yourself. We believe these artists are presenting themselves as Braw individuals and teams, and we could not be more proud to be presenting their work to you now. So we'll just show you the website. If you go to brawcircus.co.uk, this is where you'll land. The site is really simple, although more features will be added over time as the project develops in the future. You scroll down, you'll see all the different videos and some information about those artists there. So we're going to go to the video commissions page. And for now, it's an in-depth showcase and celebration of each of the 2021 commissions. The films will go live there at the end of the event. Please go and check it out and do let us know what you think. So we have some comments, or do we have some comments and questions from our lovely audience tonight? Okay, we'll wait till later. So tonight, just to let you know who's joining us in the studio, we have Jennifer Partison.
Hi.
Hello, Jennifer.
Hello, Patricia.
Pleased to meet you finally, because I know we had a Zoom chat last night, which was somewhat successful. Technology, it's amazing. Yeah. So you are the artistic director of All or Nothing Aerial Dance Theatre, and you'll be talking to the artists about their works and their films, so that'll be good. So, can you let us know how you got involved with Braw Screen?
Yeah, well, I was speaking to Rachel about Braw Screen. I was really interested in it because we were involved in the original Braw that happened at Platform. We showed a work in progress, and also I was involved with Ellie Dubois in helping mentor some works in progress of emerging artists. And then we got a screen dance commission last year, which Simon Fields, who was quite integral to this, Braw Screen had all set up. So I was just fascinated and excited to see Braw Screen, like Screen Circus happening, just because screen dance is such a established art form now, and that it was moving into circus.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being here in the studio instead of live like Zoom sort of thing. Okay, so just to let you know a bit more about Braw Screen, it was originally an idea of an associate artist at Aerial Edge to produce new works for the screen as COVID hit and all the opportunities for live performance unfortunately disappeared. The Aerial Edge team developed the project over the following months, and by last December had secured the support from Creative Scotland to make it all possible. From the original call for proposals from the professional circus community, 15 projects were submitted, and the difficult task of choosing the 5 successful proposals were underway. It was exciting to see the diversity and quality of the applications, and it was difficult that we could only support 5 this time round. However, they are 5 very worthy projects, and we're delighted to be sharing them with you tonight. Okay, so for the first commission we'll be sharing is Circles. And Circles is by Delighters. And just to let you know about this, a bit about this piece, the Edinburgh-based Circus company, which, amongst other things, produces Circulation, a regular cabaret event which presents new circus acts to a different theme each time around. Circles is a circus screen production that honours life cycles, our connection to nature, ancestry, the Scottish landscape, folklore, and its ancient heritage in the form of stone circles, matching them with the contemporary circles of hula hoops. This film is a collaboration between filmmaker Ray Bird and Justina Herman, Edinburgh-based circus performer and director who works with femme and female narratives in circus theatre. The film aims to bring the celebration of life, circus and Scotland to audiences worldwide. The artistic director of Delighters and lead artist on Circles, Justina Herman, is joining us from the Highlands, where she's currently working. Hello, Justina. Pleased to meet you. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Justina. How are you doing?
Yeah. Good to be here.
Great. Yeah, it would be brilliant before we see Circles if you could just tell us a little bit about where you got the inspiration for or how the project came about.
So I had this idea about 3 years ago, and well, except my internet connection is unstable, so I hope it will last. But yeah, so I had the idea about 3 years ago to join the hula hoops and the stone circles, because originally my fascination to paganism and nature traditions brought me to Scotland. So I thought it would be exciting to join these 2 passions together with the hula hoops and my circus skills and my love to nature and landscape. So it's basically a love song to Scotland and everything that I hold precious.
And with the everyone is going to hear the music, what really struck me was about the music and how you worked with that. And was the music made for the piece, or was it found? Yeah, if you just could explain a bit more about that.
I was doing a residency, it's the Roughmick residency in Edinburgh with various artists, and I got to work alongside Kirsty Lowe, who is a Scottish folk singer, folk musician, and her voice was just really captivating, and I knew that I want to focus on, because I'm manifesting through a female body, I wanted to bring that female energy and our connection as the old medicine women and their connection to nature into this project. So I knew that her voice will be the best to kind of represent that. And we had a session where we discussed the themes and we spoke about what this film is about. And then she written the song, this original music track for Circles. And when I explained it to her, that it's kind of a meeting of this ancient and the contemporary, so the stone circles to the hula hoops, and then that's represented in the costume as well, with the hairy street cut into corsets, and you will see it in the film by Barocco Tribal. So it's all kind of, I'd really like that to reflect in the music as well. So she uses this very old little Scottish folk song, which Robbie Burns made famous, that the green grows, the rashes oh. Mm-hmm. And so it's part of that is this old song, and then wrapped around it is the new lyrics about nature as medicine, basically. And we wanted to subtitle the film, but basically we kind of went away from that. So we had the music first, and then we started working with the locations. And first we were meant to be only in the stone circle, but then it just expanded to all the different elements, all the different directions that are represented in the stones as well. The 7 directions with the east, west, north, south, up, down, and the center. There's a central stone as well, so it was a fabulous location for us. So it just swayed a bit away from that. So we didn't have the subtitles ready for this screening because we also faced the issue of whether we want to subtitle it in Scots, because this is how the song is written, or in English for an international audience, or if we want to have both lines. So we are hoping that the film will have a film festival run and we will have both of them.
Yeah,
compromised.
amazing. And I know you do a lot of live work and create a lot of performance for live. How did you find creating choreography for the screen this time?
Yeah, that was an exciting process, because I realized how in live performance I have to occupy the stage every second. Every second something is happening. Then we had the issue of, but we want to do some slow motion, we want to do some B-rolls, we want to do various things in the film. It's not about me and the choreography anymore. That's just part of it. It's just one of the things in the film. So I really had to let go a lot of the tricks, a lot of the choreography, to sacrifice it for what the film is actually about. And I just couldn't be too precious about it. It had its pros and cons, really. So one of them was that, I just have to let that go. It was also really interesting to work with the filmmaker Ray Bird, who would try to film things from different angles with a drone, and then just telling him like, this really looks good from the front, so don't even forget about all the drone footage that you had from above, or to be able to get into really tricky positions or tricks. We could take that up, but then we could just edit the setup out so we can gain kind of the time back. So yeah, it was really interesting to be able to see some of the things and then sacrifice.
Yeah. Great. I don't want to give any more away from your film. So if anyone has any questions, please put them in the chat. And so screening for the first time ever, here is Circles.
There's no say soft as a bed among rashes all. Green glow, the rashes all. Wanna find my passions all. And all the beds and they're say soft as the bellies of the lasses all. Shelter for the winds that blow.
Great. So, hi everyone again, and thank you, Justina, for a gorgeous, gorgeous film. And you've had us all here in the studio talking about hula hooping and about our various levels of hula hoop non-skill, and also the Olympic Games, and just about how it shows off Scotland in such an amazing light as well. So. I just wanted to ask about some of the imagery, because there's some really strong images that you have in the work, and if there's about what was the inspiration behind that would be fantastic.
I guess the stone circle itself is a very strong image, and we were looking for circles in nature. We had a lot more. The intro was a lot more originally in the rough cut. But we kind of wanted to make it a short film, so we didn't want to have like half nature documentary and then half hula hooping. But we had beautiful twigs circling around, and those little rock pools we found, or things on tree barks. You know, the fire, the water swirling around. So we wanted to capture as much of it as possible. And so I just hear people cheering. Thanks, guys. I love you. So, and then when we were driving to the location in central Scotland, we just realized that there are so many beautiful places around the area and around Scotland, and it's basically a love song to Scotland and all its natural scenery. So we wanted to include all those elements, all those locations. So the mountaintop with the wind, the fire, the darkness, and just so much earthiness in it. And then the water scenes in the loch or in the waterfalls. Was just playing around with the drone as well. How can we show the best angle for the skills, but also for the place?
Yeah.
I think most of the imagery comes from that. And then the makeup comes from a kind of a mixed tradition of ancient wisdom and a bit of paganism, a bit of shamanism, a bit of just modern symbolism of what it is. So there's a rune for protection, there is a line vertically and there is a line horizontally, which is like the wrinkles for smiles and the tears. So through any mood, I want to speak the truth. And that's a line connecting to my heart. So it's just loads of little symbolism which doesn't have to be known to enjoy the film, but it definitely feels through that there is a meaning behind all these little things.
Yeah.
Touching the things and speaking the language of the land rather than a language. And I think that was one of the reasons we didn't subtitle the song, because it was more about that connection to nature and what we feel and listen to that rather than the words.
Yeah. Great. There's a lot of fantastic comments coming through the chat. We've got Rowena Gander, beautiful work. Sarah Young, so beautiful, both your movement and all of the gorgeous images. And Donald DL, beautiful piece, Justina. So, and Ray Bird, hello from Greece. So hi Ray, thanks for joining us as well, and congratulations on the work. So yeah, thanks Justina. Is there anything else that you want to share about it, or you think we've not covered that's really important?
I think it was really exciting to have a very basic, simple idea that I just want to do hula hoops in a stone circle and I want to film it beautifully. And then I got in touch with Ray and we started to make it, and it's as much his input as well. It was really beautiful to bounce ideas off, and however crazy it went, you know, like, oh yeah, if we are doing the elements, we should find a peak, we should climb something. Like, yeah, we have a lot of kit. It's okay, we will just climb it. So we just did it. I was like, yeah, but I only got to the schedule for one filming day, one day of recce, and then an editing day or so. Like, we're 2 editing days, and then it ended up so much more, and he was just so willing, and we had these great ideas, and he was always up for doing more and more and more, and I'm just so grateful for being able to explore all of that. It could have been a really simple project, it wasn't, and it was totally worth it. So yeah, it was a beautiful process, and I'd love to do it again and again and again.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much, Justina. Okay, so now we'll move on to our second commission. And this film is called Becoming Our Light. So I'll just give you a bit of a synopsis regarding this. Become Our Light is a short film that showcases Kiana Walker, presenting vignettes of movement, expression and pole dance. She holds space as a majestic being, regal and purposeful, like the many inspiring black women she channels through her choreography. Her performance reveals and holds manifestations of strength and vulnerability, using the process of making to learn and reflecting on objectification, power play, ownership, and joy. The artistic team, unfortunately, aren't able to join us tonight, so let's just go straight to the film for its very first time out, Become Our Light.
Great, hi, and that was a really powerful film, and fantastic just to see expanding the concept for some of what Circus is, but congratulations, that was fantastic and beautiful work. And there's more comments coming in on the first two films. Rosella Elphinstone, beautiful. Daniel Acasta, Fitzsimmons. Oh, sorry, Rosella Elphinstone, amazing. Daniel Acasta, Fitzsimmons, beautiful. So it's great to see all these comments coming in.
Yes, I second that too. Okay, so on to our third commission, and it's entitled Pride Flag Emoji, and it's literally a pride flag emoji, literally, that is the name of the film. And this film has been made by V. Smith and Sadiq Ali, who perform as Vendetta Vane and Sadiq. So here's a bit of the synopsis for the film by way of introduction. A party within a party. This short film celebrates queerness, outsider sensibilities, experimental circus and video art. Colourful, irreverent, fast-paced and quirky. These hyper-saturated vignettes are a collection of micro-stories, our childhood moments that lead us to where we are now, in times where we felt lost but had to pretend to be okay. How we defined ourselves outside sexual spaces and moments we broke free of stigma. These, alongside other thoughts, led us to this project and to partner up with other queer Scottish creatives to make a circus film with no splits in it. Sorry, not sorry. Here to give us more insight on this intriguing work are V and Sadiq. Where are you guys right now? Hello. Wow, outside.
I love this queer creation.
I'm so sorry. Didn't I say before we started, I was like, I'll try and get this right. I don't want to mess up. And then, unfortunately.
I think beach in Brighton, that looks like...
Yes, I am. I'm on the beach in Brighton.
She too?
Oh, brilliant. Great. Would you be able to explain just a little bit of background to the film?
Sure. Essentially, during lockdown, I moved back to Scotland, and I found myself still with the need to create, and obviously saw this commission. It was an opportunity for V and I to work together again. And then V and I went to university together. We've had a few opportunities to perform in the past, and we found that we had a great working relationship. And when we saw this commission, it was a great opportunity to put forward a new idea. The commission essentially started this idea. And when we were successful, found ourselves a project to work on in lockdown, and the ability to still work with Circus and work with some of the ideas that we wanted to play with, but in video format.
Yeah, before I started Circus, my first degree was film and television studies at the University of Glasgow. So when this kind of commission rolled around, it's like finally a chance to put my two degrees together and to really begin to investigate like screen circus and what is possible, what is not possible, how can we use this medium to really make work that is interesting and that kind of challenges people a little bit, challenges their ideas of what circus is and what circus on screen can be as well. I think we wanted to make something fun and quirky and a bit irreverent.
And you were talking about other queer creatives. Who else is part of the creative team? It's quite a style, and especially we got a little snapshot of it. It's quite a style. It's very stylish work. So I'm just really curious as to who else got involved in the project.
Yeah, so our videographer and editor and co-director of the work is Donald Dia, and our composer is Andy Walker. We also, for one of the scenes, worked with makeup artist Rue Jazzle, who is a Glasgow drag queen, and photographer for some of our behind the scenes and on the day, Max Crawford. So we acquired a kind of a team of queer Scottish kind of indie creators that are used to doing cabaret and kind of transgressive, weird performances, things that sit between all of the gaps, essentially. We all came together to, I guess, cut loose a little bit, make something less straight.
And while still a very small team, in essence, it was about four of us on the main project. with obviously a makeup artist and photographer along for some of that. But we found, what I found anyway was really special about that is we went in with these ideas and we went in as directors and dramaturgies of our own work, but everybody kind of chipped in their ideas and it became a really nice collaboration essentially. And also a response to things that we were seeing at the time. You'll see at the start of this piece essentially is a gender reveal party, and it's a direct response to some social media outputs that we were seeing from friends or people we grew up with, or from the news as well. And it was its ability to respond to things that we're seeing socially through the work that we were doing.
Yeah. Great. Well, I don't. Yeah. Well, let's get on to it, and here it is, the world premiere.
Great.
When I was a little boy, about 7 or so, I stole my sister's dress. I took it to school, and in the toilet I changed. It felt beautiful. everything always have to be about sex? Now, I will interpret this for you. Thank you for listening.
Should we go?
Great. Congratulations, guys. Yeah, it's a real riot of colour. And yeah, so stylised. And that walk out into the sea at the end, and also the orange scene with you in the water. How many takes did you do with that?
I can't remember. I think that scene we shot in the morning. It was a good half day. It was also hailing for a lot of it.
What?
There was a hailstorm happening. So yeah, it was. It's definitely on my list of experiences. Good old Portobello Beach.
And how were you able to hang there? Like, was there a harness or a crane or something?
Trying to build a rig on Portobello Beach.
Oh, wow.
Some people passing by, but essentially we built a rig out of scaffolding that was just out of shot, and that's one of the wonderful things we found we could do with having something on a frame, is build a rig above it and hang V above the water, which looks great, and it was cold.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think the walk off into the sea was the final thing we did, and we came to this point where we're like, right, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do it, let's do it in one take. And we got that in one take. So which was great because we weren't doing it again.
Yeah, it makes it more real that I'm fine. Like, that kind of feeling behind that. And something, a comment that's come in actually from Catherine, our BSL interpreter here, about how your relationship between the two of you and how honest it is, and that you can really see that you there's no acting involved. It's really real and there, and it carries throughout the film, and something that's really appreciated, and I think gives even more integrity to the work.
Yeah. Have you known each other long?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Long.
A while now.
No, honestly, the chemistry really came across.
We're both from Edinburgh, but we never met until we went to university in London, and we met at the National Centre for Circus Arts down there, so that's when we met, and obviously two Scots abroad kind of connected, and we've been friends since. And I think what maybe some of the honesty or the truth that comes through in this piece is that a lot of the scenes that we started exploring were essentially like stories from childhood, or experiences that we'd had, or times that we felt ostracized, or times that we felt welcomed, and they all were rooted in conversations about stuff that was very personal and very real. And with that, our conversations were honest, our devising process was honest, and we are very much when we work together, and I think that comes across in what we do.
Yeah. Great. There's a couple of comments come in. So Rowena Gander, firstly, I love that you have 2 degrees. And secondly, to both of you, wow, such a playful and powerful piece. Brilliant. So well done on that. And Riti Sonko, adore the gorgeous scenes. What a gorgeous abstract film. I have so many questions about V and the aerial hoop wrapped in plastic scene. How hard was that to shoot? Yeah, do you want to expand a little bit on that, V?
Yeah, so the kind of aerial in cling film is mainly sort of work that Sadiq has kind of mainly been working a lot on. Started with him and his device piece with cling film and Chinese pole, and then it's something that we've done together, sort of cling film together. Sadiq's kind of taken this part in his practice into quite a lot of places in different sort of situations, and when we were thinking about content for this film, it was something that we both kind of definitely wanted to do, wanted to explore. Set against the kind of nature aspect is something that we're really interested in, this idea of plastic and synthetic womanhood is something I was very interested in setting that against nature, and how much of what our understanding about women or nature is kind of rooted in this idea of nature and the natural, and how I don't always feel that way about myself. But I think Sadiq's probably got a lot to say about the plastics and about him, because that was kind of a thing that he really wanted to work on, as well as a director, as somebody not inside the cling film, somebody outside the cling film for a change.
Well, for me, it was to put someone else in it. But I also think it just, obviously it's a very strong visual with the hoop. And that scene was based on conversations about motherhood, about whether it was okay to be a woman who didn't wish to be a mother, for example. Very real visual. Yeah, no, in terms of shooting it, it was actually quite fun. It was a really lovely day. with the hoop being on a swivel, I can just stand there and hold the cling film and spin V. Yeah.
Do you know what I realised? I think I just realised by the time it got to the purple scene, it's all rainbow colours. I was like, of course, the red. And I'm just like that. Just hits me a bit too late.
When we wrote the proposal for this, I cringed because I imagined a piece that was like coloured like the LGBTQ flag, and it was going to look really tacky. And what we've done, I think, is we've done it justice, and I think it's subtle enough that it doesn't actually, it's not tacky. It doesn't
not at all.
But actually, we've got each scene as a colour-coded vignette and a micro story within itself, which essentially we spoke a lot about the fact that even that there's no linear narrative, that's queering the terms of performance in itself. Something that we've spoken a lot about before as well.
Oh, good. Yeah, I didn't think it was. It just was very subtle because I've watched it a few times, but I only got it just now to watch that. So, yeah, well done.
Great.
Introduced with the black and white of the gender reveal part.
Yeah.
There's a couple more comments that coming in from Katrina Smith. So great to see queer artists expressing real stories through Circus. Amazing job. And from Donald, videographer, you both were amazing to work with. Thanks, Donald. Yeah.
Yay.
Great, thank you. Congratulations, guys. Yeah.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are at the halfway point and there's 2 films remaining. So I'm just going to go into the synopsis for our next film, Flow. Flow, created and performed by Scottish circus artist Lauren Jameson. This screen circus piece explores living as a circus artist with a menstrual cycle. It aims to be relatable and to raise awareness and to get people talking about this important aspect of physiology that applies to almost half of the world's population. It is hoped that it can encourage more thought into working with hormonal changes in menstruating individuals in order to optimise performance, as opposed to working within the patriarchal norms that exist in all aspects of our society, which are optimised to serve those without a menstrual cycle. So, joining us from the other side of the planet in this early morning, or where she is, it's early morning, here's Lauren Jameson. Hello, nice to meet you. How early is it?
Hi.
Hi, Lauren.
It is currently almost 7 a.m.
What? You've done so well, honestly. Well done.
Yeah. Great. Thanks for joining us and making the effort to come online. And it'd be brilliant if you could just tell us a little bit about the inspiration and why you've chosen Flow.
So I kind of got into it by listening to some podcasts, and I don't know, it just kind of woke me up to the fact that like I have a menstrual cycle. So much of the world's population has a menstrual cycle, but actually none of our, for me specifically, it was training as a circus artist. So I had that added, I'm doing this high intensity exercise, but in everyday life as well. Just the fact that when I looked into it and read about the hormonal changes we go through in a cycle, obviously it varies from person to person, but there is a general change. And I was like, why does no one take this into consideration that, say, in this week of the month, we're probably not going to gain a lot of strength as such, so there's maybe better things we can train. And it's something I'm trying to do in my own training. I'm not amazing at it yet, but just even giving myself that, okay, I don't feel like training went well today, but actually understanding that okay, given what my body's going through at that particular time. So I was just very interested in the fact that this is such a thing that's not really discussed, even acknowledged, and making some step towards just putting it out there as maybe we should start thinking about this.
It's interesting because Iyengar yoga, for instance, recommends not going upside down. There's other forms of yoga, and as aerial artists, we're upside down. Wow. Upside down. So yeah. And did you film it over Did you film it over time? Like, did you specifically look at, like in your research, did you go at certain points in your cycle, and or how did you do it?
I didn't for this particular project purely. I did actually consider it, and then I went, okay, this would probably feel like too much of a thing to organise at this stage. I definitely am interested in doing that in the future. So for this one, what I did was I had a diary that I kept over the course of one of my menstrual cycles. And I wrote like all sorts of things in there. I had a list of things to write every day. I didn't do it every single day, but I would do some movement improv each day, just like put a song on that comes to mind for that day and do that. And I used all of that stuff as inspiration for creating the choreography and the mood and stuff for the piece. So we actually only filmed the piece over 2 days in the end, for ease of like getting my videographer and me in the same room and not having to do 28 days of filming. But I was definitely guided, and the text I wrote to accompany it is based on like a lot of those entries in my diary.
Right. That was my next question about the words that appear, and so that appear in the throughout the piece. Yeah,
they were guided by what I'd written, but also just my general experience. So I kind of was going to guide them purely on what I'd written, and then I was like, no, there's actually a lot that I have to reflect on of my years of living with this. So it was kind of a joy to see what came out.
Yeah. And the animator, how did you work with them, and how did you start working together?
I got introduced through a friend who I was actually working on another project which involved animation, and I was looking for an animator because I thought this would work really well as we didn't want it to be too explanatory. It's a very light-hearted, there's subtle hints to the hormonal changes that are happening in a really fun way. So yeah, I met Dominica, who's based in Edinburgh. So she actually is in Scotland, and we had chats. She was very keen on being involved and delivered pretty much exactly what I wanted and more. So between us, we kind of came up with this concept. She actually did that kind of early on because we had that idea to have that aspect of the project anyway. And then that would be accompanied by the circus stuff and the text. So yeah, it was great working with Dominica and learning a bit more about animation and adding something that I haven't used before, and this video Screen Circus project gave me the chance to add that.
Yeah, and you are really specialist in rope, but you also are specialist in many other aerial disciplines. Was it an obvious choice to choose rope as your apparatus, or did you think about anything else? Or?
I think it came quite naturally in this case to use rope. It's one of my preferred disciplines of them all, and I think I find it easier to or at that time I found it easier to kind of express myself through rope for some reason and tell whatever I wanted to tell. Yeah, I think it's quite an easy thing to move around and move if they create that. So yeah, it was just what seemed to naturally want to come when I thought about the project.
Great. Okay. Well, thanks, Lauren. We'll chat after, but let's all see the premiere of Flow.
can feel it is going to start before it does. It's an achy, heavy feeling in my womb. I bleed heavily for the first 2 days. It can make my legs feel a bit like jelly. They feel drained, like the energy has been sucked right out of them, like the blood took it all with it. It leaves an achy feeling, like after a workout when you can feel the lactic acid build up in your muscles, but without the workout. The cramps give me pains in my lower back too, and it gets really hard to tell if it's just everyday soreness, exercise soreness, period soreness, or all of the above. When the cramps are bad, all I feel like I can do is curl up into a ball and sleep until they pass. The bleeding can feel like a massive release, like letting go of frustrations and anger and sadness and all sorts of irrational emotions that built up in the weeks before. Despite the drained feeling, training is often good. Things work. I feel stronger than I expect. The bleeding fades away and I'm ready to go, energized and ready to take on the world. I am drained, floaty, overstimulated, bleeding, calm, serene, weak, powerful, perseverant, releasing. Pretty good. Energy is high right now. Things feel like they're going well. There's still some moments of sadness and anger and frustration and tiredness, but it's mostly positive right now. Emotionally, physically, mentally. Things feel great. I have the energy to push through, although I still need some time to recover and relax. There is a bounce in my step. Everything feels easier to deal with. I get overwhelmed and overstimulated because my head is buzzing with ideas. All these plans spinning about in there. It can be hard to switch off, but it feels so good to be motivated. And I'm mostly on top of things. I feel strong. I feel brave. I'm excited and happy. I'm alert and onto it. I'm proud of my training, proud of my ideas. I'm proud of myself. I am buzzing, wired, productive, happy, growing, chilled, tired, excited, proud, motivated, satisfied, fatigued, rejuvenated, inspired. sometimes I can feel it. The same achy feeling in my womb. The release. I still feel good and strong, energetic, capable. But I know this is the start of the downhill. The irrational sadness, the irrational anger. I'm nervous about what is to come because no matter how much rationalising I do, when I'm in that place, it's like watching a car crash and not being able to do anything about it. It's irrational, but not. There's a physiological reason for it. I am creating, clear, improving, learning, powerful, apprehensive, nervous, changing. I'm starting to feel a decline in mood. I'm pretty positive, but there is an underlying feeling of just, like I feel like on a different day I'd be more positive about the same successes. But right now, I just don't find that same joy. I'm having a bit of a battle with imposter syndrome. I'm questioning my own worth. And there is some irritability and anger. I'm feeling okay. I'm mostly on top of my emotions. But maybe just a little bit down. Just very medium spirits. A little bit delicate. A little more irritable. Maybe I'm just feeling a bit flat. Average. Meh. productive, rejuvenating, chilling, recuperating, tired, exhausted, drained, tired, angry, sad, frustrated, angry, okay. I'm hungry. My appetite is improving. I'm finally hungry and want to eat more. In fact, sometimes I just want to eat everything. I'm still stuck in quite a low mood. But why? It just is. Like there's no real reason. That's the most annoying part. I'm just a bit flat. I notice myself being bloated. I'm not feeling that strong. My grip is bad compared to normal. Holding onto the rope feels so much harder right now. I'm feeling a bit insecure. How do I get good enough? There seems like so much to do to get to where I want to be. But where do I even want to be? Sometimes I just feel like, what's the point? I don't have much mental capacity right now. It kind of follows on from the low feeling emotionally. Energy levels are low all round. But there are moments of energy where I can get things done, and it starts to improve again right before I bleed. The cycle is nearly ready to start again. I am low down, exhausted, low, sore, down, exhausted, clear, sore, controlled, clear, stressed, hungry, controlled, stressed, hungry, surviving, improving, surviving, improving, hungry, repeating.
Congratulations, Lauren. That was a really moving piece, and also really really informative. It's brilliant to see like even the names of the estrogen and the different cycles actually laid out in an artistic work. And obviously you're a scientist before. How much has your background well, you still are a scientist, how much of that background in science, your science background, informed how you looked and researched this? Were you consciously aware of it, or did it was just something that happened?
I guess because I have training as a scientist, I do naturally just like to ask questions, and I guess it's not my area that I did science in, but having done a degree in science, I think the biggest skill it gives you is to be able to just research things and ask questions and find out things that you don't know the answer to. So in that sense, like I do, when there's a topic that I'm like, oh, I really want to know more about it, I'll go off and like do my research and try as much as I can to like get my head around it. And it is like obviously scientific in our biology, so having done that in my past, it does help me understand when I go in that research.
And there's something that's coming up saying turn off in the screen. We've just got a slight technical thing. And when you were working on the choreography, was it just you in the room, or did you have anyone else helping or giving you? How did you work with Patty, for instance?
It was just me. Well, not technically just me, because I would go to trainees and work on my choreography, so there was other people around. But yeah, in this particular project, it was just me choreographing, and using my notes and using like my ideas to try and figure it out, which was definitely an interesting process. I found with the whole COVID thing and like ending up in New Zealand, that not having people around is often quite difficult to work with. Good in some ways, but also it's tough. But I think it was important that this is like what came from me. I want it to be like all encompassing and relatable to other people with menstrual cycles, but this was based on my own personal experience, because that's what I can talk about.
Yeah, and I think the location and the lighting, the real naturalistic, and in the setting, it was just, I'm not, where was the location?
It's a studio that I work and train at right now in Auckland. I wanted it to be, I didn't want to be fancy. I wanted it to be like this is how I exist, and this is what. Obviously, like a lot of it is choreographed. So in that sense, I don't often go into training like that. But I wanted to have some element of we live our lives as circus artists day to day. All of the attempts and fails of moves were genuine. So we did that last. I picked some moves that I don't always get, and we just filmed and then used them as appropriately. And that was in there as well, like that it's not always what you see, and that a lot of training is this.
Yeah. Great.
Can I ask, see, your training when you're free and flying around in the air, does it help at that time when you're cramping and sore? Does it sort of help release some sort of tension, muscular, in that area?
I think it does to a certain extent if you can get past the pain. There is evidence that exercise is actually good for cramps. And I think I've noticed in my past that if I can make myself do things, which is not always the best idea, but if it's like, oh, okay, I think I can start training, I tend to at least forget about it. I often feel like on my first 2 days of my period, I get like really jelly legs though when I'm training. It doesn't necessarily always affect my training, but I just feel like I've done a really big workout the day before, but I didn't.
We've got a few comments coming in. So from Adam, right, thank you for sharing this, Lauren. Such a wonderful, honest and truly emotional piece. From Rowena, such an honest work, great rope work. Alicia McGowan, brilliant, Lauren, well done. From Sarah Young, you have communicated something that is very relatable so well. And from Katrina Smith, very relatable. Cool to see you mention Dr. Stacey Sims stuff. I'm reading Roar and it's transformed how I approach training. Great, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I recommend, it was actually listening to a podcast with Dr. Stacey Sims that was like very like obvious point that I was like, yes. And then I read her book Roar, and I recommend it to anyone to go out and read it. It's like very informative, and yeah, will potentially change how you look at your training. And
oh, can you tell us about? I've not heard of this book. I'm like, I need to investigate. What is this book? I need to know.
Dr. Stacey, yeah. All right.
Yeah, Dr. Stacey Sims, she's a researcher. She's actually based in New Zealand, which is just coincidental. And she does a lot of research. She was, I think, a triathlete, but along those lines of athletes, and she into athletes who have a menstrual cycle, and the fact that lots of research in the past has basically done on people without a menstrual cycle. So when we look at exercise science, all of these recommendations and is like for people that don't have a menstrual cycle, and most of the time that's because the hormones is an added factor, but unfortunately it really should be an added factor that we need to investigate. So that's kind of what it does, and super interesting.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great, thank you, Lauren. Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us. Thank you. And go and have some sleep. Okay, so we are almost there. Got one more film to share and another big change of pace and tone. So let me just get into the synopsis for you. Neaps and Tatties is a satirical documentary style film based on the renewal of life in a world completely changed by our own actions. In reality, where only a trace of humanity remains and nature has conquered the cityscape, the long missing wild haggis resurfaces from the ground to live once again free in the Scottish Highlands. The revealing of a famished survivor, a modern hunter-gatherer, gives a twist to the story and initiates a hunt that will lead both species through a cathartic journey of rediscovery. Here's cinematographer and circus artist Gabriel Stella to introduce us to his film Neaps and Tatties. And we're also joined by performers Sam McFarlane and Nino Nawari. Hey guys, thanks so much for coming along. Oh, we got everybody, yay! Yeah. Hello.
Man, what an amazing festival so far. All the films have been so good.
Oh, so kind of you to say.
Yeah, amazing.
But where are you guys? Where are you all? Let's see, separate locations.
Me and Sam, we are in Glasgow.
Yay, my home city.
Yeah.
We're in Edinburgh currently, so I'm just like, yeah.
And you know, she's in France.
Yeah, I'm actually in France, and I'm in my van, so that's why there's no more lights.
Wow, it looks so cozy though. It really does, doesn't it?
It really is.
You're in your own habitat.
Aww.
So, and Gabriel, you're Brazilian, and now you're here in Scotland. And how long did it take you to be here in Scotland before you really knew much about the haggis and this story?
So funny.
So my first time in Scotland, my first meal was haggis. So I think it took me like 1 hour.
Amazing.
Yeah. But I was fascinating as soon as I knew the story, and I knew it was like an internal joke about the haggis. I was like, oh, this is amazing. And first chance we got, we started to work on this, and the Circus, the idea to tell the story of the haggis.
Yeah.
I've got to ask, did you like how it tasted? Were you going to ask that? I just wonder.
Oh, yes. I love it. Yeah.
I love haggis too.
Yeah. Good. And did you, how much were Sam and Nina, how much were you involved in the creation of like the choreography and devising the story?
Yeah, so the story is a funny one. I always joke that even though Nina's French, she's more Scottish than me half the time. She's always, big up on her traditional Scottish knowledge. So, we started to train together and put some acts together, and I think that was the natural way to go, was to go the true Scottish way on that one. So instead of it being a cabaret act or a stage show, we actually had the idea all ready to go. So when Gabby reached out to me, we wanted something that was kind of post-apocalyptic and had lots of movement in it, from lots of different backgrounds, parkour, acrobatics and dance. So me and Nina already had some stuff kind of in the back burner, so we were like, well, let's take this and put it to film.
Yeah, and who developed the script? Because it's a very strong story and script and narration. Yeah.
We all
I think I wrote the narration, but the nastiest part of the project was there was a collective creation. So even coming up with the story, the idea of telling the story through the haggis and how we were going to tell the story and everything that happened in the film, everything was like we created together, as a group. So it's nice that each of us, we put more than ourselves, like in this piece. We were really committed to it. So it was really fun, actually. Yeah. All the stages was really fun.
Yeah. Great. Well, so we'll come back after the film. I think we don't want to give any more away. And so for our final film premiere of the night, here is Neaps and Tatties.
For many years, cities have been lying in silence. After a rampant greed among humankind and a lack of cooperation that tore apart their will to survive, society ceased to exist as long ago. People that remained were forced to abandon civilization and retreat to near oblivion. As time healed our planet, nature took back control of the world. Species that were almost gone reappeared and began to prosper from their new lease of life. It is in bonny Scotland, where a creature, gone for many generations, decided it was time to resurge, to reclaim their land, and to show the world that the haggis is back. This curious creature, native to the Scottish Highlands, is peculiar indeed. Old stories tell that having a shorter leg allows it to run faster along the hillsides, where it usually nests. After several months of hibernation, the haggis has lost a third of its body weight and must secure food and water. Despite having unique body proportions, the hunting abilities of the haggis are not to be underestimated. Its diet consists of fish that it gracefully collects with its own bare hands. Sometimes prey can be exceptionally fast, but the cunning haggis always finds a way. Its thick fur is a blend of hair and feather and is designed to endure cold winters and heavy rains. Having one leg shorter than the other led the haggis to develop an odd and intricate form of movement. This dance, mistakenly understood as a courtship ritual, is actually nothing more than a physical response to its current mood. Look at that happy haggis go. With the new arrangement of the world, nature is again in balance. Water tastes better. The air is fresh again. All animals are free to roam and decide their own path. But caution there, my wee friend. Everything may look brighter, but danger could still be lurking around. A hunter-gatherer. One of the few left of its species. This forager survives from collecting plants and pursuing wild animals. It uses the forest to build temporary hunting shelters. Once a sociable animal, it now struggles to survive alone in the wilderness. For always being on the move, their belongings are limited to very few tools. And pants. They are determined to do anything to prevail. An act of kindness? Is that really all it takes to bond true friendship?
Well done.
Great, well done, guys.
Yay.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Like, yeah. And all the acrobatic filming, especially when Sam, you're running, when the hunter-gatherer is running through the forest, was that what made you decide that you wanted to film a lot of that in slow-mo, like to slow down that footage?
Well, I suppose that was maybe Gabe's decision as well. Just a lot of it was, it was quite tricky to film a lot of that as well, and we had to kind of find a location and then kind of piece the movement around about it. So a lot of it was kind of decided. We would go through the woods and we'd find something that would suit the movement pattern. So it wasn't like I had an idea in my mind what movements I'd like to kind of showcase, but at the end of the day, when we got to location, it was all about what was underfoot and how could I move through the trees and stuff like that. So yeah,
and slow motion was basically like for contemplation of the movement. It chose at some moments like some big tricks to see them slower in slow motion.
I felt for you on the mud section where when the two of you are quite low down and the ground is so muddy. I just thought, oh my God.
That day, that was crazy. That whole sequence we practiced on hard floor, and then we'd taken it to somewhere that was like grass, but we had no idea that we'd have to do it in such mud. We were depressed souls that day, but in the end, Gabe pulled together some magic. That was amazing. Because we finished that day like,
that was terrible. Like the feeling after that, we just thought like we wanted to quit Circus. We were like, this is just gonna be horrible. Like we're shit. It's a disaster. Like we couldn't do it one time without stopping. We were falling. We also never tried it with the fur, and that was horrible because it was so heavy. So everything was just a disaster. And then we saw what Gabby made, and we're like, ooh, that worked.
utterly committed to it though. It was like they're in it now and they're committed. They just looked so like determined to get it done.
Yeah, it's just really fun and uplifting, as well as the twist at the end, Gabe. That's like, that's a good twist. Is that setting us up for a sequel?
Yeah, it could be, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, we're thinking there's something else in it, perhaps. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
one of the book, for sure.
Yeah, but we still don't know if the hag is, is alive or not, so...
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we'll see.
Maybe, yeah.
Great. And coming in, we've had Eduardo Costa has said amazing, has passed on this amazing film, so just
Thank you very much, guys.
pass that on to you. Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to share about the process or about the film, or even what will be the next stages for it?
What do you think?
Not sure.
So I think we should say a little bit about our voiceover actress, Beth Marshall. She was perfect for that role, and she just made it really kind of atmospheric. And I think I'd like to say thank you to her, because she was a big part of it. And also the music as well. That's from the Elephant Sessions. And they're big kind of folk/modern Scottish artists, and their music just fit this piece so well.
Yeah, and did you work with them before, or was it a piece of music that you found, or how did that relationship develop?
I think it was who you know, and I believe Ninon's got that contact. So
yeah,
and
but for first time working artistically.
Yeah, first time working. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ninon's connection.
Yeah, your connection's gone slightly, Ninon. Yeah. Great. While the connection maybe set. Oh, she's back. Here we are.
Work with us. We just asked to use their music because, we listened to it and we're like,
yeah, we got a little bit of it. You're back. You're back. We've got a couple more comments coming in. Sarah Young, beautiful, spectacular, and really, really fun. Alicia McGowan, loved this Sam and Ninon, amazing. Douglas Locke, all of the pieces were so great. Well done, everyone. Yeah, congratulations to everybody. It's been brilliant to see such a varied range of it. And also, Mon the Haggis. Mon the Haggis.
Our interpreter, Catherine, said now we can at least point to documented evidence that haggis exists.
Yeah.
I was like, do you know what? I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. That was the goal. Yeah.
Did you ever consider doing the one leg shorter than the other? Or maybe it was within the choreography at some point.
There was a bit, that put some stuff in there. You maybe need to be watching to catch some of those moments, but yeah, there was a little bit of that for sure.
I think one leg up here and then spinning around. It's great.
Brilliant.
And you said about maybe moving forwards. I think there's quite a lot of the kind of Scottish stories and stuff that we could maybe tell and maybe move on. Maybe not the haggis and continue that, but we had loads of fun.
I think.
Yeah.
Ninon's away again.
She's
Ninon,
back.
your connection's cutting. That's what happens when you're in France in the camper.
Great.
Ninon, did you want to add to that? Did you want to add anything?
No, maybe just, like Gabby and I, we eat haggis, and actually Sam is vegan, so he's the only one who doesn't eat haggis, so
this is true. This is true. I know a guy who makes a really good veggie haggis, though. It's actually Scotland, so
I do love veggie haggis as well. I do.
Good.
No, I love the idea of continuing different sort of ideas of folklore, and it'd be great. That'd be so much fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully so. Yeah. Thanks very much, guys.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Congratulations.
Yay. So, amazingly, we've come to the end. That's the 5 Braw screen commissions for 2021. And they will be available on the new site, so do make sure you tell folks to go there and watch it. This stream will stay up on YouTube and the Braw site for a while, so if you know anyone that couldn't make it here for the live event, they can still catch those artist interviews there. So please do remember it's brawcircus.co.uk. And keep an eye on the site for new works being hosted as submissions come in. We'll put notifications on Aerial Edge social media, so make sure you're linked into those feeds. And there's just time for a few more comments if any more have come in. Got no comments? Oh, that's fine. Okay, so all that is left to say is thank you so much, Jennifer, for joining us, and thank you for being live in the studio. Do you know, actually, Lauren's connection from New Zealand was a lot better than the connection we had when we were talking on Zoom
yesterday.
from Glasgow to Edinburgh. It's so funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, just talking about strong connections and internet and stuff like that. So thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much, Catherine, for interpreting for this evening. And thank you also to our technical team tonight, and that's Matt Elliott, who's live streaming guru. And you've got to have him if you're doing a live stream event like this. You can contact him on his website, and that's Matt Elliott Media, all one word, lowercase.com. We also have Mark Gibson from Aerial Edge as technical support, and also we have Rachel Smith from Aerial Edge, and she's working on the comments and audience. So, yeah. We also do give a huge thanks to Creative Scotland for granting the funds to make this event happen, and especially to Jane Lumsden for her kindness and patience while we asked about 1 million questions when creating the application. It was very important to Aerial Edge to find ways to support professional circus artists during the pandemic, and we're delighted to have gotten to this point and very proud of having been able to support all of the artists and their work. Another instrumental figure in the development of Braw Screen was the late and dearly missed Simon Fields, who gave so generously of his time and expertise, but sadly died before being able to participate further in the project. Simon was a friend, a wonderful artist, and a genuinely lovely man. Thank you, Simon. Simon introduced us to Amari Carter of the Motion Dance Collective in London, who took on the role of delivering a masterclass for the commissionees and support in the form of mentoring for them during this process. Thank you, Amari. Thanks again to all of those who were able to talk to us tonight, and of course a massive thank you to you, our lovely audience. We really do hope that you enjoyed the films and the event, and will hopefully see more Braw Screen in the future one day. Braw will return as a live performance event, fingers crossed, once again showcasing the very best of Scottish-made circus. It has been Braw. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. Bye-bye.